Let's see if that's working. That should be working. Perfect. G'day guys. Today we're working back on a pretty special piece. This one here is The Little Prince of Siam. If you missed it before, we're back on it again. I'm in love with it right now. The colours are really fun, it's really loose, it's all over the place. And now, today's a very fun day, because like I said yesterday, we're going to get back into it and do those saturated colours. So, saturated colours, we're talking our purples, we're talking our reds, and a little bit of greens. So let's see where that takes us. Now, I've got a couple of things here. First thing I've got is a black coffee. I'm going to spin you guys around a little bit because I'm going to be working here on the counter for a bit. So, give me just a moment to select the colours and then we're going to move on. Hello Trina, how you doing? Lovely to see you again. Hope you're all doing well. I'm streaming today from the iPad, so we're not going to use a little mic bit, it's going to be just raw. Hey Scotty. Now, the question is, are we going to go for this funky blade? Tell me guys, standard white or funky greenish brown? I think I'm going to go for funky greenish brown. I've never done a colour like this, I can't wait. Trina, you know I'm doing good. I'm doing fantastic. Hey Joseph. Right, so purples, like I said, we're kicking off with our regular purple, bada bing bang boom. We've got our brilliant violet, it's like regular purple, just a little bit brighter. That can go in here too. Just little bits of it, because I splice so much colour through it, so much gloss gel through it. We actually only need like a pea of each colour, and that's all we need to have fun with. There you go. Gonna go for a little bit of blue. Hey guys, how we doing? Break the plate. That's just being silly. We're not gonna break the plate. Why would we break the plate? When the plate's been so well behaved, just doing its thing. Brilliant magenta. It's like a regular magenta. It's got a bit more pop to it. A bit more pop. There we go. And the last thing we need is this. My favourite stuff, clear painting medium. Now, clear painting medium is this stuff that I use to make the paint slightly more see-through, slightly more fun, slightly more all the things. There we go. Just a touch of it to start with. And then I want a brush. Here we are. All right, guys, I'm going to spin you back around. Don't get motion sickness, just bear with me. There we go. Are we there? We should be there. Here we go. You're in a good position. You're all sorted. Little Prince of Siam. Here's our funky plate. Here's our colours. So, great to be alive. Where did I buy this shirt from? That's a great question. The shirt that I'm wearing right now is from a second-hand shop. I got it for a couple of bucks. Why? Because I love finding a special. I like a cheap deal. I like the fact that by buying this shirt, I looked after the environment. I'm just going to grab a little bit of reds too. I thought I was done, I wasn't done. 1 second. There we go. A little bit of red. Do I want some more? Nah, just that one's fine. And a little bit of vermilion. There we go. Perfect. Oh, someone's trying to call me. No, I'll pick that up right now. You got motion sickness. I'm sorry. I did nothing but try. And you're in here now. Hello. Spilled my coffee this morning. Oh no. I'm gutted for you. You spilled coffee. I spilled my coffee this morning too. But that's okay. That's okay. Because I brought a new one. Flight coffee. Big fan of flight coffee. Stacey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, it's a short black and my golly, it's strong. It is hickin'. Hickin'. All right. Now we're going to leave that clear painting medium there for when we want it. We're going to dive straight into this and we're going to kick into just down nice and low. Down low here on our Little Prince's pants. Mixing it into a little bit of purple. Purple and red, just the touch points. Here we go. I'm just going to make sure though, that full brightness. It's on full brightness. So we're here. Now, we're going to add a little bit of this through here and through here. Here we go. Here we go. And this is just going to thicken up those colours a little bit. Just a little bit. Is that a commission piece? It is. This one, once it's finished, is on its way to Hawaii. Of all places. Can't wait. So, that's going to be fantastic. And after it's finished, yeah, Hawaii. Hawaii is the place. For Steve. And this is Steve's boy, the little prince of signing. So that's exciting. Hello, Lizzie. Long time no see. Well, I say long time no see. It's been 24 hours. Good to have you back, Lizzie. Let's leave on in here. Just down through here, just a little bit. This is more of a deep purple, but when you splice it with a little bit of red, you get all sorts of fun coming out in it. It's less of just a funk purple, more of a royal. Something with a bit of depth and fun to it. And because we're splicing it with the gel the whole time, it thins it out. There we go. Perfect. And a little bit more through here. Just little touch points. Confident touch points, but just touch points. Hey Jackson, how we doing? Do I have many other places to paint? Well, one of these days soon, I'm going to head out to the pier, which is out literally almost on the water, which will be very fun. But until that day comes, I'll be here in this lovely space. Now I'm going to tell you more about this space. I haven't told you a whole bunch about it at the moment, but this is a very special space. This is a place called The Crate, and it's where I'm going to be streaming for the next little while because I've got fast Wi-Fi. I can talk to you guys. There's an amazing community here. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll be posting a reel, a couple of live things about it, and just telling you about what this space is about because it's pretty cool. So I'm in this spot right here, short term, and basically, I mean, I'd like to be here long term, but they can't fit me in long term. So I'll be here short term. And I'd love to tell you more about the space. Time will give it though. Time will tell. Hey Nate, is that Nate Wade? Hey Nate Wade, how you doing? And says, how you doing? Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Okay, these darker colours are just going to go over the top here. Just deepen some of these areas. The black's there, it's already got a lot of depth to it. But we're looking to accentuate that, grow that. And thank you so much, appreciate that guys. Aloha, how we doing Steve? Good to see you. I hope we track down that shipment Steve. We've had a piece of artwork. I've sent a bit of artwork to Phuket everyone. And so since it's in Phuket, it's such a long way away, but we're just trying to make sure that it arrives at the correct house, safe and sound, and when it does, I can relax. But until then, we'll just be hoping. Here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks MSM, appreciate that. I thought your name was MSN for a moment, and I was like, it's been a while since I've used that platform to message. Been a long while. I suppose at one point in time, anyone who's 30 plus was on MSN Messenger. So that's pretty fun. A cotton shell. Thanks, Brian, you champion. Appreciate a cotton shell. Here we go. This purple's just going to deepen these cabinets a little bit. It's going to be quite a fun colour. Everything I want from a colour. There we go. And we've got some other very, very fun works on the way. Now there's one work that you may have seen me working on recently. Pretty special piece. It's a wedding photo. Now I love painting wedding photos. The reason I love painting wedding photos is there's love in them. Boundless, endless love. Captured in that one moment where they get married, and then I get to create it with wild, spontaneous, vitalistic, is that even a word, you know what I mean? Colour, going everywhere in all directions. That's the thing I like. And so it's a wedding photo. I've done the first layer on it, and we're using a fairly new technique, and it's pretty cool. So it's not our regular technique, well, it's close enough to the regular, but the new technique is going to be a method of layering that I haven't done on a work going to the States before. So I can't wait to implement it. I know it works, I've tested it, I've had fun with it, I've created works with it, but this is the first work I'm initiating this little technique on. It's like a new pass or a new style to use for a lose my trail of thought. It's like a new little trick. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be all the things that I want it to be. Draw last today. Lots of fun colour. This picture is going to be loaded with fun colour. And not just because we're going to add fun colour into it, but because the surrounding is so saturated with colour. Usually we're adding colour in by changing the hues and noticing tones and then replacing them with our turquoises, our reds, our blues, our greens. But in this case here, we're not going to be doing that because the background's already saturated, already popping with colour, that we just have to look at the picture, see it, and then make it happen on here. So the Little Prince of Siam is going to be a really, really special work in that most of the colour that we see in the picture, nothing was, it's almost, I want to paint something crazy, full of vitality and colour in all directions, but it feels almost, as I paint this picture, that I'm painting a picture of realism because there's already so much colour in the picture. So that's wild. That's what we're up to. Now, let's have a look-see here. A little bit more down here, and a little bit more through here. There we go. This is going to add a lot more depth. And it's going to combine the pants the Little Prince of Siam is wearing, combine them into the background. So there won't be this definitive line of this is the foreground and this is the background. It'll be a mix, a blend. The background and the pants are sort of singing to the same song sheet, which is what we want. We don't want a blunt background and a blunt foreground. We want the whole thing together. Hello, T. Hello. Great to see you, T. Hope you're looking after yourself. What an absolute pleasure. T, I've got some exciting news. We're finally in an environment where I've got some good fast Wi-Fi, and so now I can be here and stream, hang out, and we're not going to suddenly have a patchy stream where you lose me. I'm just going to be here non-stop, making a painting. That's fantastic. This is where we want to be. Right where we want to be. Right where we want to be. Oh, misty eye of the mountain below. Keep careful watch, oh my brother's soul. And if the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over. This is Thanwa. Thank you so much for painting this for us. Alright. Alright, Fanwa. Am I pronouncing that right? You'll have to tell me, Fanwa. Is that correct? And if not, I apologise and I will work on my pronunciation with your help. And you, Fanwa, are more than welcome. It is an honour to be able to be here painting this for you. Is this a new studio? This is the new studio, temporarily. And I'm going to tell you a lot more about this place. This is the Crate in Auckland on Constellation Drive. I'm in love with this place. It's incredible. It's the perfect place for me to be working in. It's only a temporary placement, but I am going to do a little bit of content about what goes on here. Why I'm here and why this place works for me, because this place is an office space, but it also fundamentally focuses around community. And one thing for me, I love being part of the community. I love feeling like feeling like I'm not just tucked away in an office or in a studio, that I'm part of something. There's people around socially, keeps you in touch, looks after you. G'day guys. Jeepers. Look at that, I didn't realise Steve had a bestie. A little bit jealous, I thought I was Steve's bestie. Hey, and also guys, thank you so much for the little flames, the pandas, and the little gifts and things. I really appreciate the support. It's phenomenal. It's and yeah, that's basically it. I really appreciate it. And if you do enjoy the stream and you want to make someone else's day a little bit better, one way is just share the stream. And hopefully more people see it and we can make someone else's day a little bit better with the act of painting. Or just chill out there, hang out with me, and we can just paint together. One layer at a time, slowly building up the little Prince of Siam. I like both. Thank you very much, Osman. Appreciate you. Hope you're looking after yourself. I've got a big bottle of water today, guys. I didn't yesterday. I was getting a little bit dehydrated there under the sun. So appreciate you putting up with me if my words got a little bit slurry as I try to follow my trail of thought, which is tough to follow on the best of days. If I had an art teacher, master today, I'd be. You know what? In art, probably more than a lot of other, all professions have it actually, but in art, prolifically, we hear so many ifs and buts. Ifs and buts, left, right, and centre. You've got to stop it for yourself. And a lot of the time, the biggest if and the biggest but comes back to you. If you did something, if you were someone. Now, with that in mind, that can either be harrowing or fulfilling in the way that you can know that you've got control over your art. And for me, there was a period in my life where I lost control of my art and I didn't want to do it. And I realised my ifs and buts were my problem. It was something that I'd construed and made up in my own head to the point that I'd stopped liking what I was doing. And that's what I talk about when I actually had this return to enjoying creating and making rather than the results that get created. And I fell in love with it again. Because creating, making, is where the hammer meets the anvil. That's where, so dreams happen. It's where you fall in love with what you're doing. It's where you enter a flow state. Flow state being a state where time sort of just lapses. You can just enjoy yourself, make, be, and the thrill of creation. Sounds cheesy, but you know what? It's how I feel. It's how I feel. Anyway, more of this maroon. We need to get down here into this carpet. I'm going to grab a whole lot of red for that. Coming down low. We're going to add in a lot, thickening up this red colour, emboldening this carpet. I want this carpet to really pop. There we go, beautiful, all the way around. Hot poppy carpet, give it to me. All the way. There we go, beautiful. Coming on back up and painting around in little circles. Where else are we going to go? Just through here. More pop into these pants. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to keep adding it in. Bit by bit, team. Bit by bit. Do I have students? No. But I think it's really important that you have people who you are looking after, mentoring. So there's people who I've met via social media and who I've met around the world who first off sometimes mentor me and help me with my creative journey. And then there's people that have come to me and asked for advice or help for their art or whatever they do. And I'm no guru, and that's okay. But sometimes I might have the words to help them. Sometimes the words someone needs to hear isn't really that dramatic. Sometimes it's you're doing great, keep going. Yeah, so no, I'm not a teacher, not on a weekly basis, but look, I think it's important that we all take the time to help people, mentor people. If we have advice to pass on, to share that advice and try and grow people. Those who want to be grown, of course, don't force knowledge onto people, but yeah. I'm always moved by the people who do send through their art, and the first question I always ask, and it must annoy some people because I tell you all on the street and I'm going to ask it, and then you send me the art, and I still ask it, which is, did you enjoy making it? Are you enjoying your art? And sometimes the question's yes, and when it's yes, good, keep going. You're going in the right direction, keep it up. And when the answer is, you know what? No, I'm not enjoying it. I haven't enjoyed it for a long time. I thought I could, I pushed for it, but it's just not in a place where I want it to be. That happens. And when that happens, now we've got a conversation to have. Now between two friends, between two people who are having a connection, let's figure out what can we do to bring it back. And sometimes the most important question when it comes to bringing something back is why do we want to bring it back? Because I love art. Because art connects me with my family, connects with my loved ones. I can create moments in my mind, from my imagination, and bring it into the real world, whatever it is. In those moments, that's where your love comes from, but you're having a hard time connecting with those moments at the moment. That's okay. Sounds like a whole lot of those moments at the moments and the moments and the moments. The point is, once you know you love it, if you lost that passion, about reinstating it, finding it. Hello. We'll each teach one. I like that. Put that on a t-shirt. We'll each teach one. You know, if we each taught one, we'll be a great place. I typically teach, I typically aim to do 5 good deeds a day. 5 good deeds. They don't need to be mountain moving deeds. They normally aren't. But sometimes it's a compliment. That's a good deed. It's giving someone you love a cup of coffee. It's telling someone you love that you do love them. It's doing the washing, the laundry, opening a door, whatever it might be. 5 things. But I end up doing so much more, and the reason I end up doing more is because you're thinking about doing 5 things, you notice a whole bunch of things. And you end up doing a whole lot more than just 5 things. So that's pretty special. At least I think that's pretty special. I always find the funniest thing about life, I see a lot of quotes these days about filling your cup. Filling your cup, look after yourself first. And yes, it's important, definitely. But the thing we forget is one of the most fulfilling things is that when we're actually looking after others, our cup has been more filled in that moment through the act of pouring than it ever is by being poured into. The weird paradox of life is that when your cup's pouring, it's refilling the fastest. At least that's how I feel. So, with that in mind, I lost my trail of thought, and that's okay. There we go. Just stand back for a moment and have a look at it. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Beautiful. Fantastic. Let's jump across here now. I'm going to leap onto some pinks. Some popping pinks. This is going to be great. I'm looking forward to this. Just a little bit of pink. Mix it in here just like that. I'm going to use this in a few little areas. It's really going to highlight in these pants. God, the little Prince of Siam has got a great pair of pants on. Not just because they're fantastic pants, metallic, shiny, very fancy, but also because of the way the lights hit them, the textures, the folds, they're so asymmetrical yet so beautiful. We can try and capture that. And just because they're red, there's also so many other colours cascading through them. So we're going to have fun with that too. I'm not sure what lindo means, but if we had pink here, Pink could tell us. Pink's our resident Spanish speaker. Here we go. Fantastic. Thank you. The shirt's actually from a second-hand shop. I was very lucky. And man, I like shopping at second-hand shops, guys. You get a bargain and you look after the planet. It's all the things at once. Speaking of looking after the planet, I watched a movie last night. You've seen it before, surely you've seen it. It's called Don't Look Up. It was great. Really interesting movie. Because it forms these amazing parallels, obviously. Yeah, don't look up. So, and plus I do like DiCaprio as an actor. I think he does a fantastic job. I know he's not for everyone, but he's for me. I like him. It means beautiful. Lizzie, well done. In the absence of our friend, Pink, I think you're our new resident Spanish speaker. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't miss anything. Lol, TikTok has been slacking on the notifications. Hello, Victoria. Lovely to see you. I was doing some work off screen on our picture. Oh, I forget his name again. Something about Max or Mash or Bang. Big Bang. Bang Mash. I can't do it. You know what I mean, Victoria. I put some work into him. So I was using a very fine chisel and just gently smoothing off the texture within the picture. And then I put a coat, a really thin coat of a gloss primer gel on top of that. So now it's a completely smooth surface to work from. Bang Chan. Bang Chan. I'm getting there, Victoria. Bang Chan is my bias. See, I'm getting the hang of this. My bias is Bang Chan. That's correct, right? I'm correct. Yes, that's right. That's it. It's the right track. And hello, Mum Happy. I'm glad your mum's happy. It's just been Mother's Day, so I do hope she's happy. This is an important thing. Probably the most important thing on Mother's Day is that your mother's happy. So, proud of you. I'm just going to get a bit more of this through here and through here. We're probably going to need a dive just on some brighter colours. I'm just going to grab that white. I like the shape of this plate though. It's an oblong plate. It's quite fun to use. There we go. And when we use these gels, especially outside the wind, they take a long time to dry. And I like that. So it lets me work it. It does mean we can't go endlessly with thick coats on the canvas, but it does give us the wiggle room to do a bit of wet on wet. Have some fun on the surface. Their fans are called Stay, so welcome to the world of stays. I am glad to be here. It's fantastic. And who's that? Kyle. Kyle, thank you so much. Love you, mate, and I appreciate your support of the stream. In fact, I kind of needed that. I would have bought a bunch of paint today. Do you ever do Disney paintings? I would love to do some Disney paintings. And actually, I've got some fun works coming up. I just bought 2 new canvases, and I'm in love with them. I'm in love with them. They're not regular canvases. They're silk screens. So they're not designed to be painted on, but I'm going to use some of my mediums, some creativity, and some good old New Zealand number 8 wire. Not exactly number 8 wire, but figuratively speaking. And we're going to use these to do some paintings on. I can't wait, because they're perfect canvases. They're aluminium, they're very light, they're stretched perfectly, but they're not supposed to be painted on. So they're everything we want, but they're not for what we're after. Well, we're going to make them for what we're after. I'm excited. Let's have a look-see here. And Kyle. I'm trying to remember, have I seen your name on here before? Surely I have. I've seen Kyle around. But Kyle, it's lovely to have you here. You absolute champion. I was actually at Gordon Harris today buying some paint supplies, and I ran into someone. The guy behind the counter, great guy. Gives me a bit of advice, helps me buy some paint supplies. And he's just always smiling. He's a happy guy. He's like, I know you. Are you that guy who streams on TikTok? And we had a bit of a talk. I was a little bit shy, but he was really nice. Really appreciate that. So I'm glad he's having a happy time. Victoria, I think we need you absolutely. Yeah, Lizzie's getting the hang of it. Lizzie, you're starting to realise that I'm a little bit of a broken record, that I repeat myself very frequently, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm a little, what did you say? I'm a little bit of a broken record of positivity. Let's call it that. Oh dear. But what a pleasure. We've got T, Victoria, and Lizzie here. I think we've got Cobb too, but we've got Steve. This is lovely. And of course, the little Prince Saeem, which is fantastic. And one stroke at a time, we're going to represent this little prince and make his face and portrait into something special. One little stroke at a time. Here we go. Get a bit more through here. Just embellish that across the cheek. The colour changes in the face are so subtle, yet so important to the overall creation of the piece. We don't want to overdo them, but we don't want to underdo it. Thanks, Jay Smith. Appreciate you. Hope you're looking after yourself, Jay. Good to see you back here. And good to connect with you. Right, there we go. Just keep adding little bits on little bits. It's all these little bits that you think aren't going to matter that end up being the only things that do. And that sounds so cheesy, but it's so true, guys. When I finish a painting, it's never the eyes, the detail of the cut lines that I put to form the legs. It's always a little bit of paint that was trying to represent a little reflection on a curtain, or a little crease in the clothing, where a little bit of light was caught and that was just expressed with a bit of warm pink. It's those little moments that actually, when you look at the painting, and you think, wow, that's special. At least it is for me anyway. It's got a couple of little bits across here, bear with me. I should adjust the canvases to do those little bits, but I can't help myself. I just get in there, get it sorted. There we go. Perfect. A little bit more, we'll keep it going. How's my day going? Jay Smith, I'm having a fantastic day. This is a new studio. I said before, I'll tell you all more about it, but at the moment, it's the Crate. It's on Constellation Drive here in Auckland. I'm here short term. I'm very, very lucky to be here. The Crate has some fantastic people. It's a place that puts community at such a high bar. So, lucky me for you to be here and being a part of it. And yeah. But anyway, I'll make a video and tell you more about this place, what's going on here, why I'm here, why I'm such a happy boy to be here, all those things. Thanks Lewis, appreciate that. And thanks Nate. Let's have a look see here. Just a bit more pink. Underline magenta through the picture. Just little bits here and there. Just little bits. Up here in this pattern, there's a bit more to grab. There we go. Beautiful. All the way up. Hey, I've got something exciting here as well, guys. This is going to be pretty cool. I just remembered. So, one thing that just arrived at my house, and I'm very, very excited by. I'm going to show you this. I'm in love with this. I haven't even fully unwrapped it yet, so bear with me. I'll take these off. I'll take the bottom ones too. So technically, we're seeing this together for the first time, which is pretty cool. You guys ready? I'm ready. Here we go. Voila. So, just arrived in the mail in the last few days. This is Mahalo. I'll bring it closer here. So, I was very lucky because I placed this, I grabbed the first copy. This one here is 1 of 15, so fantastic to have Mahalo here. I was so amazed at how the print came out as well. The paper is absolutely incredible. Archival link, all the good stuff. And yeah, it's just really special. It's really, really cool. I was gutted when Mahalo left because I was in love with that painting. And now I've got this little reminder. So Mahalo's in Hawaii with Steve, no longer with me, but I've got my own little memory of Mahalo, so I'm a happy boy. I'll put that one down there so I don't drop it. Cheers, Lizzie. And hello, DJ. Good to see you here, by the way. Steve was here. Steve is here. And we're just working away on this fantastic little painting. I think I'm going to grab some more blues, just to grab a few areas. The temptation is to grab a black, but I don't think we're going to use a black. I think blue is the key. Hey JC, how you doing? Good to see you, JC. Hope you're looking after yourself. Good afternoon to you too. And JC and everyone else here, can't thank you enough for your love and support of the stream. I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be honest. One of the things I try and do here is I try and be as honest and authentic with you guys as possible. And some days, it happens to all artists, no matter how big you get, or where you go in life. And I hear this, I remember the most compelling thing that always stays with me is when they wrote that song, the Beatles wrote that song, Help, Help, I need somebody, help, just anybody. They wrote that song after they became an overnight success. And it was written because now that some of the most famous people on the planet, he actually was hugely insecure about his weight, he hated himself, he was this, he was that. Now, the point of that, me telling you that, is because what it shows is no matter how big you get, you still have uncertainties, you still have insecurities, you're still human in a very, very human way. And for me personally, how that affects me is some days I can't connect with my art and I don't feel great about it and I struggle a little bit. And you know what? Sometimes when I get the energy to come on here, spend a day with you guys, and paint, and do what I love, because this is what I love. You guys, through what you say and by being here with me, actually, you fill me with confidence and love and certainty that actually, you know what? You're not always making the best masterpieces out there, Seb. Sometimes you cook it. That's just what happens. But you know what? You are making people really happy through the process of painting. And knowing that really does support me in some amazing ways, guys. I can't say that enough because I'm human. Sometimes I doubt my craft. Not all the time. Don't think I'm waking up every morning, but I'm waking up and doubting it. So it's a real pleasure to have such amazing people. Yeah. And JDC, I don't know what you do for work, but you post some incredible things on Instagram. You're in the most bizarre places around this planet, doing the most incredible things, so keep posting. I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah. We're going over these purples and these reds with a little bit of blue. What the blue's going to do is it's going to add depth to those colours, now that we've saturated it a wee bit, but without adding this defining black to it. So it's not going to aim to define. It's not going to do that. It's just going to embolden and deepen those colours. It's just going to have fun there in those blacker areas. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, cheers, Lizzie. Cheers, Victoria. Appreciate you guys. Now, coming through here, just more of this colour. Here, that's going to actually shift down to there we go. Beautiful. And then we're just going to lash this through here. Just embellish some of these black areas with a little bit of blue to flesh them out. It doesn't have to be such a deep, dark, foreboding black. Black doesn't have to be deep, dark, and foreboding either, team. Black can be embellished and fun, existing to define, instead of bringing in a negative connotation of intensity. It depends on how you'll use the black. It doesn't have to be having that negative effect the whole time. I think we get scared away from black because we think it's always going to have that wildly negative effect. You know, maybe it won't. Who are you painting this for? That's a great question. Jay, this is a painting for Steve. This is Steve's son, the little prince of Siam. We're having some fun with it. Layer by layer, coat by coat, as we normally do. We're just building it up and letting it come together at its own pace. It's a very fun piece, and the thing I like most about it is this work, because of the colours, the large shapes, and the composition, it comes together almost like a caterpillar. I say a caterpillar because I feel like this work started as a caterpillar with amazing potential. And then it didn't really have a cocoon period, but that caterpillar started becoming a butterfly. And we've just slowly watched as layer after layer hits the surface, and we start to see that butterfly emerge. It's an absolute honour for one. I'm just going to keep building in it, see where we can take it. Little bits at a time. There we go, and then there's a little bit down here. That goes in there. Beautiful. I'm so happy you have Mahalo. We love it. Cheers, Steve. I'm glad I've got a copy. I'm very glad. And I mean, it's the part I love the most about it. I love the whole thing. I love it that there's components that you can love individually. I love that there's a nose of the surfboard cutting through the water. That has its own little feeling to it. And I love the reflection of the water, these three cuts coming from you. And I love the spray of colour, but it doesn't feel like it has, it's got power to it and vitality, but it doesn't have foreboding volume. It just has this energy and flow to it. I love that. And I love the white doesn't even feel like white. Feels like foam, and it's flowing and exploding, and then the character on the wave, you, Steve. I just like the whole thing. I like the whole thing. It's something special. It's something real special. And thank you, Shimon. Appreciate you. This shirt's incredible. It's like I was saying, from a second-hand shop. I believe in buying stuff from second-hand shops. And the reason I believe that is because it saves the planet. Because if you can give a shirt a second round, no one has to do any work. No one has to get hurt. All the money you spend on that second round goes to a charity. It's only pros, very few cons. And yeah, that's something I like. Here we go. This is just going to go in here like this. And then this one's going to go in here like this. And this one comes down here like, yeah, there we go. And then this other one comes out here like this. Now we're talking to it. Perfect. Carolyn and Adriana. I don't know those people, but cheers, DJ. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Here we go. Let's get some of this in here. It's pretty cool to have such good op shops here in New Zealand as well. The other place that has incredible op shops is Chicago. Chicago has some incredible places to go buy clothes. I think just because the market there is so big that they're able to stock so much. Cheers, JC. Appreciate you, mate. And you know what? The more I learn about you, JC, the more I appreciate you even being here on the streams at all. Being that you're in helicopters, you're out there in the outback, you're out there in the middle of nowhere, doing the most wild, crazy, fun adventures. So, an absolute honour to have you here. There we go. All right. I'm going to pause there for just a moment. We're not stopping, but I'm going to take a little coffee and water break. That's the plan. Water first, and then we'll do some coffee. Here we go. Oh, that's good water. That's really good water. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Hydrate. I know it sounds cheesy. I know we've heard it way too often, but when I find myself not in the mood to paint, I literally find that the reason that's sometimes the case is A, I haven't been eating good enough. B, I have just been drinking coffee and not actually having water. Maybe haven't been sleeping right. Haven't been doing a little bit of exercise, just a little bit of movement to get the blood flowing. I can look at these things before I look at the paintings and judge why I may or may not be in the mood to create. So, typically, every day, 3 litres, it's more than you'd think. Have water. Hey guys, hey Angel, I'm doing great, thank you. Stay hydrated team. God, that's important. God, that's so important. I used to have a friend, her name was Kate. Incredible lady. She would have a bottle of water almost everywhere she went. And I didn't think a whole lot of it. Until now, I realised that I was the idiot and Kate was the one who had it all sorted. She was the one drinking water the whole time. And you know what? She was at more of a peak game because of it. Angel, I'm doing fantastically. You know I'm doing fantastically. Stay hydrated or be dehydrated. When I was at summer camp looking after kids, which is one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, absolutely. It was so important to make sure, especially with the younger children, that they were hydrated. And we'd end up having kids who would throw tantrums or get upset or have a challenging time. And the one thing you could draw it back to sometimes was the fact that actually they'd been out in the sun and you didn't give them water. So I'd always make sure I was giving those kids water all the time. Keep them hydrated as often as you can. Here we go. Beautiful. That's what I'm after. This headpiece is just looking phenomenal. I'm loving the headpiece. It needs more work, but it's just in the right place. I'm loving these pants. Everything's in the right spot. The cool thing I like about it is that everything's building up equally, piece by piece. We're not prioritizing one area and leaving out another. We're doing the whole thing in unison. So that way, and at the moment, probably the most neglected areas would be the face and a little bit here on the breast and the arm. And the reason they've been the most neglected, along with this ornament here, is that they're the white colours, and we've only done the dark and the saturated ones. We're going to come with the lighter ones shortly, but we haven't done it yet. So that's the reason why those areas haven't been touched as much, but we're in a fantastic position. The fact that we haven't fallen trap to over-focusing on one area is part of the reason why this painting's in such a good place. Speaking of which, our colour palette is perfect to attack this rug here, which is quite intricate. There's a lot of things going on around it, and I want to embellish that. I want to capture that. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit, and I'm going to move the whole artwork up. Here we go. About that high. We're going all the way up to the top. Let's just lift this one down here. There's a temptation just to do it with one hand, but let's not risk it. Let's do it normally. Here we go. Now where's the best place? There we go. That'll be ideal. Just come to here. And also, if I haven't said it yet, JC, wherever you are in the world, mate, hope you're having a great day. Hope you're looking after yourself. And on that note, Victoria, Lizzie, DJ, I hope you're all looking after yourselves too. One of the big things we can do in life is when we're not performing the way we want to perform and doing the things that we think we should be capable of doing, we can turn right around and start beating ourselves up and demanding we be at that level. We don't need to be our biggest drill sergeant. We need to be our biggest cheerleader. And more than anything, more than a beat up, you need to be right in your own court saying, you got this. Now, I'll tell you what, we can always come back and be a drill sergeant, but it's important on any given day, you show yourself a bit of love. Because if you're not going to do it for yourself, who is? I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm serious. So if you haven't had any love today, from yourself or anyone else, from me to you, right now, you are doing great. You're doing really good. And it's great to have you here. If you want to share some love with the rest of the world too, folks, then a couple of ways to do it. You can do it in your own time, however you like to share it. You can share the stream. Maybe we can put a bit of love into someone else's day. Or you can just keep doing exactly what you're doing at your own pace. Because that's also totally fine. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I'm enjoying this environment here too. There's an amazing culture at the Crate. It's an amazing place. It's in an amazing location. It's got amazing facilities. Like, at the end of the day, for what I try to do, what anyone tries to do, this place just has the ability to give you so much fulfillment and ability to pursue what you want to be pursuing. Are you an architect? Are you a designer? Are you a accountant? Do you just send emails from a laptop? I don't know. Whatever you do, I love this place, and this will be a good fit for you. I'm only here short term, but honestly, guys, this is day one. I wish I was going to be here longer. I just wish. I'm actually in this studio space that I'm working in right now. I'm right beside Hasbro, which, for a nerd like me, and don't get it twisted, guys, I am a nerd. It's a real thrill. It's pretty special. Want to meet you? Cheers, mate. Well, I'm in this weird little isolated part of New Zealand, down the very bottom of it. And so, sorry, down the very bottom of the world, but in a strange place in New Zealand. So, the thing about that is, wherever you are, you can join me right here. We used to have a lovely lady who would join us on the streams called Lucy. And she would paint while I painted, and that was pretty special. And then we've got Cheryl, who does a fantastic job being a mother and being here on the stream. Incredible, love her to bits. And then there was a lovely, lovely lady who helped me. This is actually before chatbot GPT became such a prolific tool. She helped me spell check some of my pages and writings on the website and on little bits and pieces around the place. And I couldn't appreciate her enough. And then we've got absolute MVPs like Victoria and DJ. I'm not sure where Lucy is. I think it's a good thing though, Victoria. I think Lucy's finally been getting some sleep. I think if we want to catch Lucy, we're talking 6 a.m.s and we're talking 9 p.m.s. But this middle of the day stuff, Lucy's getting some sleep. And you know what? Kudos to her. Because there were a few streams where she's like, oh my lord, it's 11 p.m. and I've got a big day tomorrow, guys. And we sort of like peer pressured her into staying around for a while. And so, she's a busy lady. We're going to let Lucy do Lucy. Here we go, that comes down to there. Just there, yeah, now we're talking to it. That's where we want to be. Oh, straighten up. Keep an eye on my posture, guys. Don't let me start slouching like that. If I'm down here like this, craning my neck out, that's bad for me. I need to be standing straight. As an artist too, when you work long hours by yourself, you can just start slouching over your work. One thing that'll happen, I talk about dress smart, paint smart. Cheers, JC, you champion, sitting through a few fireworks. When I talk about dress smart, paint smart, this is about not just about looking nice while you paint, this is about feeling the part. There's been psychological experiments that they've done on people who wear uniforms who then feel more ready to perform the role that that uniform would then have. Now, I like to run a very, very clean studio. I'm on a white floor. I'm painting with a plate. I'm keeping myself in dress clothes, but I'm keeping everything very clean. Now, I want the paint to be crazy, wild, primal, different, changing, raw, expressive. But I want to control that into the four corners of this picture here. I don't need it on the walls. I don't need it on the floor. I don't need it on myself. I need it just here. And so when I talk about dress smart, paint smart, it's not just about painting. It's about everything you could be doing. And if you look the part, you'll feel more like the part. And so some days when I'm not feeling up to it, no, I say up to it with just painting, with anything, life in general, the trick is to dress well. On the days you don't feel like you can handle it properly, dress the part for it properly. And you know what? You'll be that much better equipped to take on whatever that is. I think that's pretty cool. Here we go. Let's stand back from this never looksy for a moment. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright. Just gonna grab some more of this blue. There we go. Just gonna slash this through these parts. Just a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. G'day guys. I do keep myself clean when I do paintings. That's correct. Thank you very much, Cindy. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. So yeah, whatever you're doing today, dress the part. And the one thing it did show me too when I moved into the studio, a couple of things like my easel and the general stuff that I was using, I was allowed to get a bit of paint on them. And I thought, actually, I've got to be running a cleaner ship than this. I've got to, hey ordinary boy, thank you very much. I've got to keep my stuff even tidier than I currently am. Because with an artist, we're controlling chaos. We're working with chaos, something so primal and expressive that it does just want to grow and move into anything it possibly can. And so we have to actually find a way to control this chaos. I say control, that's the wrong word. To harness it, to direct it, that's a better word, to direct the chaos. And typically, the best way we can do that is by, in my mind, or with my style, running a clean ship, looking after it, making sure that we keep the paint where the paint's supposed to go, and all the creativity stays within these the four borders of the picture. Can we make that happen? I don't know. Sometimes make it happen. Sometimes we lose control. That happens too. And that's okay. It's totally okay to lose control. But you've got to bring it back. Gotta bring it back. And with painting, the temptation when you lose control of the work is to think, this is where we are now. There's always the ability to bring it back. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. It's just a bit more work here. Just keep capturing these little bits here and there. Thanks, ordinary boy. I appreciate a bit of May. Eye painting too. You need help, idea. Appreciate that. Well, I think I don't need. I mean, it would be arrogant to me to say that I don't need help. Everyone needs help. And you know what? More than help, I love feedback. I love suggestions. I love ideas. You're more than welcome to tell me anything you want to tell me. And the people who do provide feedback, suggestions, and ideas via messages, to even take the time to let me know something I could work on, something that they like, that I could do more of. You know how meaningful that is? That's phenomenal. That's really moving. And yes, I do take commissions. So at the moment, I'm fully booked for the next month. But we can still do a project, me and I. So if you go into my bio, there's a link there to the website. And on the website, you'll find a tab called Commissions. And under Commissions, you can tell me the size you're after, where in the world I'd be shipping to, and a few other little details. It even asks some questions about you, because I think the best artwork isn't just one you pay for that shows up at your door. It's one where you form a relationship with the artist in a way that every stroke that gets made on the canvas, you can understand or empathize or feel a little bit more of what the artist was trying to show or express in the way that they capture the likeness. And in this case here, the likeness of the little Princess I Am. So that's special. So, if you're not after an original though, there's prints available of all the originals on the website as well, via the same link. So, and I've got one here as well. I'll show you one last time because I am in love with it. This is Mahalo. This one here is available and I'm absolutely in love with it. One of my favourite parts is up around the top there. This picture here, if I was to rename Mahalo, if Mahalo was taken and I couldn't call it Mahalo, I'd rename that picture Vitality. Because that's what it feels like to me. And that's the energy that Steve's giving off. Vitality, I reckon, I never went surfing with Steve, but maybe anyone who did would describe him as a vitalizing person to go surfing with. I don't know. But that's how I feel. Thanks, Richie Rich. I don't understand the speed limit. But whatever the speed limit is in the area you are at, I'd follow it. That's the safest bet. There we go. There we go. Getting back up into this headpiece, can't help myself. Come on down to the carpet, Sebastian. Here we go. A little bit more of this dark purple, mixed with this red, and get some of that gloss gel. And we're gonna have some fun with it just around here. Start fleshing out these areas. Thanks, guys. God, what was I saying? Dress smart, paint smart, but something after that. It was in my mind and now it's gone. Oh well. I forget. Oh, yeah. So commissions form there, commission forms. It's all there, and if you want to connect more, sorry Victoria, sorry Lizzie, all the links are there on via the link in my bio. Click on that, you can find Instagram, you can find Twitter, you can find YouTube, and you can find the website, commissions, collaborations, all the fun things, whatever you like. There we go. Beautiful. Please collect more so he stops saying it. Maybe I just need it written on a t-shirt, Victoria. Maybe I just stand here with, if you want to connect more, written on my chest. Oh dear. Maybe. No response from you yet from Hull, Quebec, Canada. I love your artistic talent, Ralph from Canada. Sorry, Ralph. I'll do a bit of a search for your name after this, Ralph. And it depends what form you've filled out or where you've made touch. In terms of making touch via Instagram, I get so far behind with Instagram. I try to keep up, but I fail. Emails? I'm pretty good on the emails. Emails, you'll definitely get a response in due course. And then you've got things like, what's the other one? I see TikTok, actually, speaking of, is doing their own messaging service. So that's exciting. TikTok's doing their own messaging service. I see some requests coming through. So that's new, that's fun. Good on TikTok. Pushing out into new areas, doing new things. I'm excited for them. Because previously you'd have to be following someone, but now you can get a message request. If everyone's like, yo, Sev, it's always been like that. And I'm sorry for being stupid, but I thought it was new. Cheers, Victoria. There we go. Just gonna get this black here. No, not black, sorry. Gonna get a little bit of this purple. Feed it into a few of these areas. Just build them out a little bit. Have some fun with it. There we go. It's so saturated and poppy too. This purple's really going to stand out wherever I put it. Then we have some fun with it through here. No holes barred. There we go. Just a bit. Coming on down through here. Perfect. By the way, how's Shelby been? Shelby's great, Steve. She's absolutely fantastic. She's looking after herself, living her best life, all the things. So no, it's been an absolute ball. It's good to be here too though, because we have fast Wi-Fi, but being at the house too, it was great. It was great. So, we're doing well. We watched Don't Look Up last night. Pretty good movie, pretty good fun. And we might watch a movie again tonight. Got any recommendations for us? What should we be watching? Hello, brother. I'm doing well. Hope you're well. Let's have a look-see here. There we go. Fantastic. And then just a little bit more through here. And a little bit more through here. And a little bit more through here. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. There we go. There we go. A little more coming down through here. Now we're talking to it. In these corners, I keep saying this. As long as the corners get as much attention as the center, the picture's going to be fantastic. That's where we need to be. Mamma Mia is a classic for you. I love that, Victoria. Yeah, Mamma Mia is a goodie. Mamma Mia is a goodie. I like where your head's at. I can support that. You just give us a little bit of white here, team. My little mat got a little bit of paint on it, but we'll fix it now. Hey LJ, how we doing? Now, there's going to be a little bit of a green to get up here. I want to get some tans in through here. So, is that what the next step's going to be? I also bought some forest oxide as well, which is like a deeper green. So we'll have some fun with that deeper green on these cabinets as well. Maybe a touch goes up here, but only a little bit, just a touch. It's hot over there. No, I don't drink paint. This is just a bottle of water. Just keeping myself hydrated. Now, I'm going to put this tray over here, and we're going to move to a smaller plate, and then I'm going to grab brand new brush. Bought this today. Treat. I spoiled myself. Yeah, I bet it's getting hot over there though. Let's have a look-see. Ooh, is this going to come off easily for me, or is this going to be hard? I don't want to pull it in a way that it damages the bristles, so I'm going to try and pull it from this end. There we go. Perfect. Alright. That'll do the trick just right. Quite a long brush, so there's the length of it there. The reason why we've gone for a longer one here, and I like to use these ones in general, is because the weight on the far end of it allows the strokes to be more fluid when you're moving. If you use a shorter one, you've got way more control over what you're doing, but the issue comes in that with the shorter one, you can't do those bigger, more gestural movements. So that's where this sort of one comes in fantastic, because we want to get in here to the face and not do small movements. We want to do larger gestural movements on it. This is the brush for that. Now, kicking off with our Naples yellow. Naples yellow first up, and a little bit of white. Titanium white. Titanium white's the usual go-to. And we're going to add a little bit of this. Very, very simple palette. Let me show that to you there. There we go. So let's have a look-see. Where are we going to go to first? Ooh, we might even grab a little bit of silver. Are we going to be that creative? We are. Iridescent silver. Just a touch. Here we go. There we are. Just the tiniest little bit of iridescent silver. Just a little bit. You're still painting the same painting. Yes, I am, Eduardo. Takes time. Steps. We're going to keep painting this one until I feel, we all feel, that we've captured the essence, the likeness of the little Princess Siam. Because part of what I like to do is not stop. Just keep going. Just keep going and going and going. More layers, more time, more effort. Until eventually you think you've captured a likeness of the subject you're after. Hey? Hey, yeah. And so, we'll just keep adding layers. And of course we can't say it's finished just yet. Not until we've added the lighter tans onto the face, the shirt, and down here in the carpet. Until we've achieved that, we're just going to keep going. I like to use a glass plate, yeah. I'm not going to throw it around here, otherwise it'll splash everywhere, but typically the goal is to use it much more like a frisbee. Play with it, have fun. I find with a regular palette, it can hurt your thumb a little bit, but you can have a lot of fun with a smaller plate. This is good. Plus, you can get it from op shops. If you get it from op shops, And it's pretty fun. Again, you're looking after the environment while you're doing it.
No, exactly.
Let's have a look-see here. And we're going to put a wash over the face. Now we're talking. So now for the first time, the face is going to get close to the colour that we want it to be. Let me have a look-see here. I'm just going to add a little bit through the nose, highlights the cheek, and then coming on down through here. There we go, beautiful. A little on the chin there. Yeah, so we're finally going to start seeing this face come into context. These lips start looking like how we want them to look, and this nose, this little button, starting to feel more like a nose. Step by step, guys, step by step. I do have an audience, Victoria. It's scary, it's nerve-wracking. A live audience. 3 people in fact. But they're talking about me, not to me, so. There we go. Get a bit more of this through here. Here we go, beautiful, just like that. Little touch and go like that, just a little bit. Then we're going to sneak down through here with this, just a little bit. This face here, a little bit extra. We're not done around this area, we just need to keep adding to it. Building it out, fleshing it out, adding more to it, making it thicker, developing it, bit by bit. I don't speak that language, but I appreciate whatever you're saying. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. And a little bit more through here. Wonderful. This brush is actually probably a little bit thick for the job we want to get done. This is the right size. Perfect. This is a 6. I think that's 6 millimeters. This is going to be the perfect size for what we're after doing here. Coming down these legs, a little bit more white through the paint. Cheers, guys. Yeah, no, they're lovely people. They're part of the same building here. And so it's an absolute pleasure to have them joining in for a bit. We're back by ourselves again though. There we go. Now a little bit more through here. Fantastic. We're just going to keep adding through little bits and see if we can't. There we go. That rug will start to appear more and more as time goes on. Hey, yeah. And then we're just going to keep building it out here in the chest. The chest is finally going to start getting some of the correct colours coming out of it. So that's going to be fantastic. Just a little bit through this chest, bit by bit. Now we're talking to it. And a little bit up here through the shoulder. This tan colour, this is the colour that's going to express the actual colour the little prints are signing. This isn't a white patch. This is tan. A little touch of it. Just a little touch. Good night. All right, Richie Rich. Good to have you here. Look after yourself. Get some sleep. Same time tomorrow. Here we go. A little bit more through here. Beautiful. And a little bit more through there. There we go. And then the staff here. There's a little bit coming on down through it. Now we're talking to it. Just bits. And then this curtain. Now we're talking to it. I'm going to grab a bit of silver now. This is the unlikely colour, iridescent silver. Well, jokes aside, Steve, it's likely that it will be same time tomorrow. So watch this space. We might be back here doing the same thing, and that'll be pretty exciting. There we go. Coming on down low. I'll embellish some of these colours with silver. Just a little bit around. Just a little bit around here. Now we're talking to it. And coming around down here. Sneaking through here. Sneaking down here. Perfect. Imagine all the people living all today. Yeah. You may say that I'm a dreamer. Here we go. Just gonna keep in some bits and pieces of it. We're gonna keep on. Oh yes, this is where the silver wants to go. Now an exciting part. Thanwa will be out at school and can watch you paint him. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, I'm excited. And also I'll put the whole recording on YouTube as well, so he'll get the whole thing. He'll get the whole thing. Once I get enough Wi-Fi though to... My phone's currently full, and so I've had a hard time downloading them to then re-upload them. So that's why I'm currently holding them. Eddie, I know you've been hanging out for me to upload them, but that's what the weight's been on. I need to free up some phone storage. So hopefully tonight I'll sit down with this Wi-Fi and let it just upload all to the iCloud, speed my phone back up to normal. That'd be fantastic. That's the goal. I haven't Victoria. I know, it's absolutely shocking. But that's what I mean. I've been waiting on my phone to be cleared off properly so I can stream so I can download things. Because at the moment I can only get like a few minutes, just enough to make a reel, and then I'm back on 0 again. It's like, you don't have any storage. The amount of times I'm making a reel at the moment, and it's like, you've got no more storage. I'm like, all right, I guess that's the end of the reel. I guess that's as far as the content goes today. Yeah, so that's always funny and fresh. Do you ever edit them on TikTok Studio, make them shorter, and do a speed time lapse? That sounds like something pretty cool. No. But I do have a phone that records a time lapse, which actually I will just restart it in case I lose it. So I have a phone that does the time lapse, so I've got a copy of that. Probably not in the same quality, but that does happen. And then, yeah. So typically the go is we'll do the lives, but the lives are the main things. Everything else is sort of just other stuff, because the other stuff's fun. And always think of the other stuff as fun, because honestly, it's most special for me when I can be here live painting and you guys can see stroke by stroke the painting coming together. We can't do that from reels or stories or YouTube and replays. So these things are all fun and extra and okay, but the lives are the real part. This is the part where we actually get to experience it together. So this is so I typically try and do all the painting, the physical creation part of it live with you guys. And that's something that occurs with both of us, something that's meaningful. Both you get to see the greatest hits, but I also get companionship while I create. So there's a give and take relationship here. And that's pretty fun, if you ask me. Google Photos is your friend in this case. Yes, see. Google Photos and iCloud, I need to get far better at what I do to free up space on my phone. Because at the moment, I'm causing myself problems. Here we go. A little bit here. And hey, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. It's pretty cool to get the likes. That's pretty fun. I hope that in my ramblings today, I was able to make someone's day a little bit better. And I'll tell you what, I was already having a pretty good day, but you've made my one better, so. What's that saying? Partners say it to each other. Something about I love you a little bit more than the day before. I forget. More than I did yesterday. And less than I will tomorrow. I forget. Someone will know it though. Can someone tell me that saying? Are you Matt Damon? I used to get that all the time in high school and university. And the right lighting from the right angle, I look like Matt Damon. Of course, he's famous and cool, and I'm a bit of a nerd and I paint, so here we are. Are always SEP talks are always welcomed and appreciated. The thing about SEP talks is they don't come like a conversation sandwich where you've got like a beginning, middle, and end. They're sort of like an all you can eat buffet where the plate's just getting loaded with different things and then just suddenly stops. There's really no rhyme or reason, and typically in the middle of the talk, sometimes when you think it's just getting into it and he's about to make a point, suddenly he goes, I lost the trail of thought. So, such is life. Such is life. Right. We're making great ground this painting, guys. Excuse my obnoxious laugh. We're actually doing great here. And it's been cool to actually be here for an extended period. What's that? 90 minutes. So we're going to be here for a bit longer too. And it's kind of cool because normally the sun gets me too much. I need to go inside from dehydration. Since we're doing smaller bits of detail, I can afford to keep working on this piece, which is cool. We won't overwork it, of course. I'll let you know when we get dangerously close to that. But at the moment, because of the small brush strokes we're doing, it's okay. We've got time, we can continue to work this piece. Little bits at a time. Just little bits at a time. Who was that? The Art of Kimberly Finley. Great name, by the way. Thanks for the little thing. To heart me. That's pretty exciting. I like what you did. There we go. That just goes through there like that. Beautiful. And that's going to connect on like that. Yeah, we got some fun occurring in this piece. We've got some fun things happening. We've got more fun things to go. And we're just going to keep capturing these little lines and moments, pops of colour. Here we go. Coming down the sleeve. Beautiful. An impressionist, expressionist painter. Probably more of an impressionist painter. But not that it matters. Because art's subjective, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. So you are as right as I am when it comes to defining what someone is, how much you like something, or what something could mean. And so, with that in mind, if we were to look at the definitions of expressionism and expressionism, difference being impressionism is subject focused. So we have a subject and the person expresses the subject, whereas expressionism is probably the reverse, where there's a subject and a person uses the subject to express themselves. And the best example of impressionism, let's just grab a example, would be the sunflowers by Van Gogh. He used the sunflowers and he made an impression of the sunflowers. And expressionism would be Scream, that picture of the person holding their cheeks and like wailing by the wharf, by the sea. That one there, the person holding their cheeks was just, they just used that image of that as a tool to express the fear that they were trying to show. So typically, we'd call my work impressionism, but it could be equally both. It really depends on how you feel on any particular day. And more than any definition of art, the most important thing Do you like it? Did it make you feel good? Did it invoke vitality in you? Did you enjoy looking at it? These are the factors that actually matter. And once you come to grips with that and understand your own tastes enough to embrace art in that way, nothing else matters. So that's what I reckon. I can't speak that language, but I'm excited by it. So that's how I feel. Realism as well. Realism would be less of an impression of the subject and more of a real rendition of the subject through whichever medium you've decided to create realism with. So, but look, at the end of the day, if you're an artist, you can get so caught up on thinking, I'm a this style of painter, I'm a this, I'm a that. Try and break those barriers and focus more on this makes me happy, that makes me happy. I do this, I do that. This isn't a masterpiece, at least not yet. We need to work on little bits of it. We'll know, maybe when it's finished, how we feel about it, and that will tell us what level the work's at. But at the moment, there's still some areas, neglected areas, that need our attention. The face, as we get into these lighter colours, we'll keep touching little parts around this face here, these lips. And it's funny, I always say don't over-focus on things or see lips. We're not seeing lips. But it is time to add some colour up into these areas because we're now on these brighter colours. And so for the first time in this work, so it's quite exciting for both of us, is we're starting to actually see some definition up on the face and some of the likeness of a Little Prince of Siam coming through, rather than just a few quick lines that we had before that were making up the face. Because now we're in the colours. And the next thing we're going to come through with, I'm going to grab it from over here, is just a little bit of vermilion. Just an absolute touch of it. Not a whole lot, just a touch. There we go. And we're going to mix that in there. Now we're talking to it. A teeny, tiny little bit. And we're just going to dab it. There we go. And this bit's going to come around here. That wasn't perfect, but that's okay. We've got more to do there yet. And that's going to go there like that. And then the vermilion does escape up here into the crown. So we're going to embody that. I need to on tippy toes here. Hold on, bear with me. I adjusted it because I was supposed to be working on the mat, but God, this crown is just so, what's the word, alluring. I can't help it, guys. I'm drawn to the gold things within this image. I'm drawn to the ornaments, the carpet. I'm drawn to the things that are shiny. I'm like a child here. It's very, very hard to shake the need I've got to paint the shiny things of this image. We're battling it slowly. There we go, a little bit of a lip there, and this is going to cascade down there. Then that grapples there just a little bit. Stepping back, having a look, and it's touchy. Then we're going to come on down here with a stroke that's going to put the body there, skate down this cheek, and then this ear here. There we go. Perfect. The Little Prince of Siam. And then we're going to add some of this vermilion, spliced into the teeniest, tiniest bit of white to make it not salmon, but salmon connotations. I'm going to start adding this into the legs here, just a little bit. It's not going to overpower it, but it's going to have these undertones of colours on the finished result. There we go, a little bit more down here. Perfect. Aesthetic. I'm missing a few of the comments there, but here we go. Let's add that in there and that in there. taking a step back, having a look at it. We're in a good place. We're in a very good place. We're just going to keep these little details coming. Just these little colours here and there. And then coming on down here, this colour is going to be fundamental for what goes on this carpet here. There we go. Grabbing some of these little highlights as they come around. Perfect. Keep them coming. A little bit more around here. I'm not going to be shy with them. This is quite a bold colour, but it's going to have fun down this carpet. Bit by bit. Bit by bit. These toes, going to need some love. Let's come on down here and express a few of them. Not because we see toes, but because we see some shades here that we haven't noticed yet. Perfect. Some more of a spread there. There we go. Then we're going to come across here to this foot. Same story. Express. Perfect. And then come down this line here. Perfect. And come on down here. Perfect. Ooh. Swipe there. There we go. Beautiful. Right. I think it looks wonderful. Thanks, Victoria. Appreciate you. It's in a really cool place. It's having some real fun. We've got to make sure that these next adjustments that we keep making to the picture, we don't lose the fun we've already created. We're going to do that with the correct sort of transparency gels, so we don't cover up previous work. We're going to do it with making sure that we only, all the gestural strokes, the big movements, the compelling, primal, expressive style, that's largely solidified in the work now. Our job now is to layer, define, build. It's not to do earth-shattering movements unless, we never want to rule those out though, because sometimes ruling out an earth-shattering stroke that sweeps across the picture suddenly limits it in a way that, what's that saying? We've got to be willing at any given moment to ruin the painting, to figure out what the painting can become. This is so important, so important. So if we get hung up on what we've already done and want to try and make that last at the expense of what other strokes could become, we'll never get the painting. We'll never get a result that we want, that we're happy with. We'll wonder why we thought we were so close to it, it suddenly was never further away, had never been further away. So we won't do that. We'll continue to risk the artwork and risk it in every stroke and moment that we paint it. And this risk, this inherent risk, however small, this inherent risk is fundamental to painting. Absolutely fundamental. Am I close to Nelson? I know a guy named Nelson. We're not that close. He's a great guy. I don't think we're talking about the same guy though. I'm fairly sure you're talking about the place of Nelson. And if that's the case, I'm not all that close to Nelson. This is Auckland. This is a lovely place. Where I'm painting from, I'm going to do a reel on it sometime in the future. But at the moment, I'll just tell you that where I'm painting from is a place called The Crate. It's an amazing place. I'm here temporarily, and I'm so lucky to be here. So lucky to be here. So I'll tell you more about why I'm lucky to be here in future reels, but for now, it's a place on Constellation Drive in Albany in Auckland, and yeah, it's an incredible place. They focus on all the things that I focus on. So a shared community, teamwork, caring about each other. Like, a lot of the time you go into shared office space and you feel like, what's the way to put it? You feel like you've bought a cubicle, but here it feels more like you've bought a ticket to a community. And I think that's not something that you can just build, that's something you have to create, and I've created it here, so it's pretty special. Sebastian, born in New Zealand, impressionist painter. Oh, thank you very much. Who shared that? That was lovely. And I won't reveal where you are, but I'm, oh, what's lovely. I hope you're enjoying Auckland. It's a lovely place. And how does it feel to be the vice president? The vice president? I'm no president. I am just a Kiwi. But you know what I am? I'm happy. And I feel like that's something that we can all strive for in life. Because there's been periods in my life where I wasn't awfully happy, you know. I was doing the right things, going through the right motions, making the right money, but I wasn't fulfilled. And one thing we need to realise is what fills us, what makes us happy, what fills our cup. Is it surfing? Is it reading? What is it that fills us with energy? And then to pursue that with just reckless abandon. It's like, I've got a saying that I've been nurturing. I haven't finished it yet, but I've been nurturing it. Thanks, Pablo. Oh, an honour to meet you, Pablo. Love your art. There's a saying I've been nurturing that your mind should be a slave. Your mind needs to be a slave, not to the world, not to a corporate company, not to an idea. It needs to be a slave to your heart. Your heart needs to be in charge, such that it tells your mind what it wants. I want this, I crave this, I need this. And your mind's job, its only job, is to spend every sleeping moment as it develops the subconscious and every waking moment pursuing what the heart demands. And once you realise that your mind's not supposed to be happy. Your mind's job is to pursue things that makes your heart happy. We've got so lost in a world now that we think that by forgetting about our heart, we can somehow please the mind, and then our hearts are just absolutely miserable, or we're trying to cater for something that was never going to be happy in the first place. Forget about that. What do you like to do? You like to go walking? You like to surf? You like to hike? Do you like to meet up with your friends? Do you like to... what is it? What's your thing? It can be just relaxing. It can be sleeping. It can be whatever. What does your heart tell you that you like to do? And then make your mind spend every moment it's got pursuing that for you. And that mind will suddenly be filled with purpose. And ironically, suddenly the mind is happy with or without the heart, because it's pursuing something. And the heart, if it ever gets what the mind was trying to find, will also find happiness. That's what I reckon. Who's my favourite artist? I think you guys know this. I think you know who my favourite artist is. I think you can tell me who it is. The question I'd like to know is, can you tell me why? It's a he, why he's my favourite artist. Francis Bacon, yeah, I like your style. I'll just throw down. I'm a Van Gogh man. I love Van Gogh. He's incredible. I love his story. There's something very, very special about someone who, in a world that hates everything you do, no one liked his art. His brother bought one of his pictures to try and keep him financially stable. He sold other people's art because he couldn't make his own art sell. In a world that didn't like anything you made, for 10 years, he pursued nothing but that. That's so, speak French, yogurt. No, yoplait. Yoplait is yogurt. Yoplait is French for yogurt. Yeah, and croissant. There you go, this is French. Da Vinci, also incredible artist, incredible in different ways. But Van Gogh spent 10 years pursuing what he thought would make him happy. Pursuit of the soul. in a way that everyone else on the face of the planet couldn't see what he was doing. He didn't change. He didn't change. He knew there was something in us that he felt that was worth pursuing, that was worth doing. And he kept on doing it. Kept on pursuing it. Isn't that crazy? And yeah, it was noticed after his death. But to never change what you were doing because you were so sure that you'd found something and if only someone else could see it. That's the Van Gogh story. That's compelling. And with his works, you can't look at them and try and get a sermon out of it. I've said this before. You're not supposed to look at Van Gogh works and feel this overwhelming sense of euphoria from it. No, with a Van Gogh, it'll just give you a little feeling of happiness, a little moment of, huh. And in that little moment, Van Gogh's provided you some vitality, some joy and some pleasure. And he's done that to so many millions of people around the planet. He was just never here to see it. So that is a journey, that is an artist. The idea, not of changing one person's life phenomenally, but changing millions of lives just a little bit for the better. Isn't that the most beautiful trajectory any artist could ever go on? So, Van Gogh, he's the number one. Don McLean summed up how I felt about Van Gogh. Please share. A long, long time ago. Hey Ray, how we doing? Long time no see. Long time no see. Starry, oh yes I have. I have heard Starry Night. Yes, of course I have. Yeah. Paint your palette blue and grey. Look out on a starry day. With eyes that watch the world and can't forget strangers that we've met. Yeah. Yeah, old Van Gogh. One thing I like about him is not the pictures that everyone knows about. No. I like the pictures that don't really get seen. You know, he thought his most famous work was Potato Eaters. Potato Eaters. No one's ever seen that piece. He loved it. He thought it was his masterpiece. And yet we show off Starry Night, which was not what he believed to be his masterpiece. We said, this is the one. This is the beauty. This is the one. But for him, if you get a chance, go onto Google and search Potato Eaters. And then that'll give you a little bit of an insight. A little bit. It won't be a game changer, but a little bit of an insight into the mind of Van Gogh. And that he thought that picture there was the picture that best expressed his talent, his skill, and his ability. That he'd captured better than any other picture he'd done. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. You like Potato Eaters? Potato Eaters? Good picture. The faces in it are not distorted, but interesting. They're constructed in such. I can see why he felt like he captured something that he hadn't in his other works. There's something special there. Yeah, you appreciate that painting? All right. Potato Eaters is getting some love. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm glad. It's not often that we're in an environment where Potato Eaters is, first off, known, but second off, gets a bit of a affection. This is all... We're entering new ground for me. Here we go. A little bit more through here. Here we are. Keep this stuff going. Perfect. Going to stand back and have a look at it. Where are we at? The Little Prince of Siam is coming together. One paint stroke at a time. One paint stroke at a time. Here we go. Back in here, a little bit more. There we go. Paul. Sims, the paints of Paul. Oh, look, when it comes to paint, this world's got so many colours in it. And for the biggest part of history, we haven't had access to all those colours. But now, you can go down to your store without a colour man coming along, and I can buy brilliant magenta, Joan violet, vermilion, forest green, burnt sienna, Indian yellow, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, carbon black, Mars black, permanent sap green, purple, gold iridescent. I can have all these colours at my fingertips just by going down to the store. So I like to use every colour I can possibly use and embellish them into the painting, because I feel like we'll be given an opportunity today that artists didn't have 500 years ago, 200 years ago, heck, 100 years ago. So, if you see me throwing all the colours at work, it's just me showing those old artists, those old masters, some respect. Because had they had the opportunity that I've got to use all the colours that I've got, they would absolutely do the same thing, I believe. I love Crow with Wheat Fields, his last one. I haven't seen that one. Well, I've seen it, but I can't visualise it right now. That's fantastic though. We have some beautiful Van Goghs here in New York City. You do. You absolutely do. You do. Oh my God, do you what? One day, soon, I'll go back to New York City and I'll see those works in the flesh again, and I cannot wait. There we go. Just getting this hand more defined there. So we've got a hand coming in slowly, holding the staff. We've got some ornaments starting to show up here, and the cabinets. Every stroke we put on, the cabinets starting to appear more and more. And yes, the colours, we want to keep that saturation in there. We need the black in this picture. The black creates that depth, and it defines a lot of the picture. But the colours, the saturation needs to be at the forefront. It needs to be popping. It needs to be almost like when you remember this picture, you don't remember it for the black, deep areas in it. You remember it for the popping saturation of it. So that's what's going on here. That's what I want to happen. And most importantly, we can't just have colours flying off the page in all directions. We have to make sure that we're representing the iconography that surrounds the Little Prince of Siam. The Little Prince of Siam has got a lot of objects around him that construct the identity of the picture. We have to give these a lot of time. If we don't, the risk we run is just having abstract, disjoint colours that don't represent the character or the place and time the character is. So, with these little strokes, here we go, up on the face here. We need to make sure we keep that representative nature here. Done a few wild strokes, but the key is a little bit of control over that wild chaos. There we go, that was a good stroke. That was a very good one. Well done, Sebastian, proud of you. We always beat ourselves up when we do bad painting. We very rarely give ourselves compliments for good painting. So, if you are a painter or a craftsman or whatever you choose to do, if you do a good job, compliment yourself, be your biggest cheerleader, because, like I say, oh, that felt good. That was my solar plexus. Like I say, maybe no one else is doing it for you, so you've got to do it for yourself in a massive way. And sometimes you will be by yourself. And if you beat yourself up, then everyone in the room is beating you up. So, at least that way, if it's only you and one other person and they're beating you up, only half the room's against you, because you're always on your side. That's the good way to be. You're like, that's too cheesy. I'm like, yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's true. There we go. A little bit in there. A little bit in there. Next colour I'm grabbing, brilliant magenta. and the red light candium. Red light candium is just a really popping red. I'm going to start spotting a few little areas around this canvas and having some fun with it. There we go. I'm going to see your gallery on your webpage. Yeah, go for gold. There is currently no work available. I am sold out. So since there's no work, there's commissions available from next month onwards, from about halfway through next month. And then right now, we've got 2 prints available. 30 years old, turned 30 in January. You're looking at an old horse. Hardly. 30 years old, 30 years young. Check out thanks Victoria. Yeah, so there's prints available, there's merch available, and there's all sorts of things, guys. But look, grab what you like. It's all there. Buy the link in the bio. I'd love for you to have whatever suits your fancy. Or, you know what? Just hang out here with me. And if there's also nothing you want on there, that's totally cool too. And you can just hang out here and give me a like, or you know what? If you shared the stream, that'd be phenomenal, because that lets me reach more people and tell them that they're amazing, and that, you know what? You don't know who needs to hear that on any particular day. So sometimes it's just me. Hello. You are you are the chief merchant promoter, but you're so much more than that, Vic. That's like one bit of a title amongst all of the other titles that you have. The whole collection of titles that land under the hood of Vic. Alright, where are we sitting? Let me just back up here a little bit and have a gaze. Okay, we're in a good place. We need the same colour down here in these legs. Let me just attack these. There we go. Just get more of this colour embellished in here. Really enjoying the fact that we haven't fully constructed the bracelets around the legs. There's this temptation to paint those things. That's part of the jewellery, except it needs some more gold in them. But more importantly, we're noticing the legs, we're noticing the bolder colours within the legs, and we're letting that govern where we put the colour, which means that we're painting what we see, not what we just think we see. Great way to be. Oh, I'd love to hear this collection of titles. I haven't got them all. Victoria, moderator, dreamer, enthusiast, merch promoter, all around cool individual, K-pop fan, bias to Changbang. Is he Changbang? Changbang. I forget his name, but bias to him. Hello from California. What a song I love from there. That song, it's called California. I am California. Wherever you are, still want me. You got some amazing redwoods. You got Hyperion, big fan of Hyperion. The only redwoods that trump what we have in New Zealand are the redwoods in California, and they are phenomenal out there. So, well done. I've been there once. I've seen the trees. I've been there twice. I've been to the redwoods once, seen the trees, and fell in love. They're absolutely breathtaking. I live close to the redwoods here in New Zealand, my hometown, and I've seen nothing like what you have in California. California, here we come. You're probably sick of that song. You know, that doesn't represent my place or my people. There's one TV show that went nuts, and now we've been existing with this annoying soundtrack ever since. I came to TikTok to relax, and now this random Kiwi painter is singing it to me. Totally understand, I'm sorry. And hello from South Africa. Hello, welcome. Good to have you here. Hope you're looking after yourself. Here we go. There we go. little stroke just there. How we doing? How we doing? We're doing good. Good, that was a good stroke. Good thing about that stroke is it's an expressive stroke. So it's clearly a brush stroke, but it's representative of a very small defined feature, which in this case here, the Little Prince of Siam, has got a little bit of white in his right eye on the far side. We've expressed it with a stroke of paint, which is clearly a stroke of paint. It's Bang Chan. Bang Chan. Good, good. I'll remember it now. Bang Chan. I'm getting there. He sounds like a really cool dude. I'm sure he is. And this goes down here. Oh, Little Prince of Siam looking good. Anyway, that little bit of white in the eye, we've expressed that with a brush stroke. It's clearly a brush stroke, but it's also representative. That's everything we want. That's impressionism at its finest, and we've got it right there, which loosens up that whole face. Exactly what we're after. Yeah. I'll stop harping on about that brush stroke, but that's a good one. That's what we're after. That's the goods. Anyway, get back to painting, Seb. And thank you very much, Charbel. I appreciate that. I've never seen these little things before, but you know what? I'm very excited that they exist, and I really appreciate you sharing them with me because that's really exciting. Happily taken. Yeah, thank you, Victoria. You're a champion. And redwood trees are amazing. He produces all the group's music. I didn't know that. I did not. Victoria, why are you not telling me these things? Why are you not telling me these things? Oh, guys, you absolute champions. We just crossed the line to 30,000 likes. Love you to bits. That's phenomenal. You never asked. Don't you play that card with me, Victoria. Yeah, fair enough though, I totally didn't. But that's cool that he produces most of the music. What a champion. I love that. I love that. So, we're in a great space here. The Little Prince of Siam is coming along great. This curtain here needs some more attention. This curtain here is more textural highlights that we haven't grasped so far. This area here is looking great. This hand needs some work, along with this little patch through here between the separation of the Little Prince of Siam's coat and the ornaments behind him. The ornaments here, I'm loving a little bit of distortion occurring here. It's good. It shows that we're not recognising ornaments as much as we are recognising colours and shapes. These cabinets, again, same thing, textural highlights. We're going to do those next, and then we have this carpet here, more colours of red. We wait for them to dry, so we're working on this area slowly. You'll see this deep saturation. That's what we want, but we can't just keep putting coats on it, otherwise it'll all mix. We need to make sure we wait for it to dry, and then another coat, and another one. So the saturation comes through 7 different shades of red through this carpet, and that layering of 7 different shades of red, that's what's going to construct that depth and that proper, like, lush saturation of the carpet, rather than just like a red. That's not what we want. That's not what we're after. We want that pop. And hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Is he a little Bali prince? No, he's a Little Prince of Siam. So, Siam. Who's been to Bangkok? Who's been to Laos? Who's been to Thailand? Who's been to that part of the world? If you have, you're incredibly lucky. And this little lad here is the Prince of Siam. Well, it's a fun description for him. He's not the actual Prince of Siam. But if there was going to be a Prince of Siam right now, it would look like this. This is the correct look. So we're in the right place. Now, 2 colours that I bought today. Couldn't help myself. Went to the art store. Forest green. I'll show you this colour. It's a deep, deep green, and it's going to head up into that part right there. And then this one here, burnt sienna. So we were using a sienna before, and it was a much, much brighter sienna. It was more a tan colour. This one here is darker, it's browner. And these 2 colours are going to work perfectly to add depth up into this curtain here. So the folds, at the moment, it exists as more of a compositional shape. We're going to add this into it, forest green, to add depth to those folds. So you feel like With this curtain here, this one doesn't have folds. It's going to feel more glistening with a pattern sort of rippling on it. This one here is going to have folds that will work with it. And then the brown, that's going to be what adds the textural depth and shape to these cabinets that we see here. And then we'll be in a pretty good place with a little Prince of Siam. Greetings from Germany, good to have you here. Hey, how you doing, Jason? Jason, you still owe me a picture. I am waiting so patiently. Having you on. Jason, lovely to have you here. Jason, among some other lovely individuals. How many shirts are out there now? I forget. But guys, if you do want a funky shirt, they're available via the website. You can get Paint Me Like One of Your French Girls written on a shirt across your chest, which I find hilarious. It's in memes. Sorry, not memes, emojis. Sorry, I'm not cool. I forget the right. Forget the right terms to say. And then there's also one that says "Stay Hydrated" team, which is pretty funny as well. But in a funny way, but also it's what we all believe here. Stay hydrated. I really, really hope that if you're sitting there in your bed late at night, watching the stream, hanging out, or doing whatever you do with your life, because it's your life and you can do whatever you want with it, that you're hydrating. I'd get a real kick out of knowing that. Funky Bar. Hello from Funky Bar. Hello! In fact, I think I've got my Funky Bar t-shirt around here somewhere. Is that Funky Bar from Bali? If it is, absolutely lovely to see you again. Hope you're looking after Shelby's one piece. And I can't wait to see you again soon, you absolute champions. If you're somewhere else in the world, hi, nice to meet you for the first time. Hope you're doing well. Hydration is vital, Jay Smith. Absolutely vital. Oh my God, I had the best night last night watching Don't Look Up. I drank like 2 bottles of water. It was awesome. I was just in a mood to drink liquids, and I just kept drinking water. Now, it wasn't so great once I went to bed. There was a few bathroom breaks, but actually at the time, you know what was really good? Just watching a movie and hydrating. The simple pleasures. Let me see here. A picture is that you were an absolute champion, Jason. You've been on holiday. I totally understand. You do you. I'll do you a deal, Jason. I'll do an even better one. Rather than just shamelessly pushing merch every day on the stream, you share a picture with me. What I'll do is, if you tag it on Instagram, I'll share it at the same time as well. And the world can see you and your new miraculous shirt. If you're okay with it, of course. I reckon it'll be quite funny. There we go. Beautiful. Hello from Orlando. I love Orlando. When I was a kid, when I was 21, I used to love going to Orlando to those, is that where the Dreamland, Movie World, Disneyland places are? I think it is. Yeah, I enjoy those places. It was so different from anything we had in New Zealand. Like, I'm not big on them now, but we don't do things to that size in New Zealand. So it's incredible to see what you have in America and just appreciate that actually we're Kiwis, but we're small in this world. And you guys are big, so big. It's a lot. Hello from New York City. Are you giving the little prince a smile? The little prince has got a look on his face where he's standing, I'd describe it as prepared for a photo. I wouldn't say he's smiling. I wouldn't say he's looking down on you. He's looking at you and honouring you and the fact that you're both sharing this moment together through the photo. And JC, love you to bits. You're an absolute champion. And right now, you know what? We are chasing a dream. But by chasing painting and doing painting and sharing it with you guys and being here and making art, along with chasing the dream in a cheesy way, we're also living it. So I appreciate each and every one of you for making that a little bit more possible for me. And honestly, I hope whatever your dreams are, wherever in the world you want them to take you, and however you want to achieve or accomplish them, and I hope that today or over the next few days, you get a little bit closer to it. So that's what I reckon. You'll deserve it. You really do. Now, green, just a little bit down here. There we go. Just going to sweep around here just a little bit. A few little highlights coming in here. Just touches. Little bits around these feet. Standing right on the pattern. Right on the pattern. There we go. And this bit comes around here. And then it's going to be a little bit through here. Just a touch. Just a touch. And this is going to be a little bit through there. And then there's going to be a little bit down here. Cool. Keep it coming. A little bit through here. Fantastic. I'm going to sneak around here with it. There we go. We've done some serious layering today, guys. The room's been perfect for it. It's been the right temperature. God, we're having some success. It's fantastic. Just going to keep it going. Keep it going. Great place to be. Got a little Prince of Siam showing up stroke by stroke. What a time. Just turn that on there. There we go. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the roses, Luke. Appreciate you. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this through here. A little bit of green's going to sneak into this little part. So we're going to let that happen. Just a teeny bit of green through there. And the edge of this has got a bit of green up here. Just a touch, just a touch. Is there any up there? Just a touch. Tiny bit. And come back up into this part. Just dabble with it. Just dabble. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Where else are we going to go? It's going to be a little bit up here in the crown. Just going to let that happen. Get a little touch points. Bit up here and here. There we go. Capture that little edge coming down the side there. Perfect. That was a really good stroke, team. That's exactly where we wanted that to go. And we're going to keep capturing this a little bit through here. Dabble with it just down here. Fantastic. And then there's a little bit. That's alright, we wipe a little bit of that off there. There we go. That's the amount we want. Cut. Pause, engage. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Jay Smith. What's my inspiration behind painting? That is an absolutely phenomenal question. Cheers, Steve. We're making some really good ground here. I'm loving the way these layers are landing and combining into each other. We've got more ground to go, but there's a special place in this painting to be. And the hard thing about the Little Prince of Siam is a Little Prince of Siam is appearing next to Mahalo. And since it's appearing next to Mahalo, we need to make it compete with Mahalo. I need this picture to be so amazing that when you walk into the room and Mahalo's there and Little Prince of Siam's there, I want you not to be able to decide which one you like more. So that's going to take layers, time, and effort, energy and vitality onto the surface because that's important. Yeah, that's important. Anyway, sorry. What was I saying? Lost trail of thought. Inspiration for painting. Yeah. So, inspiration for painting. Great question. Think of it like a sportsman. When we have a sportsman on a field, a soccer player, I'm thinking of soccer because of Ted Lasso. Great film. When you think of a soccer player on a field, do we ever say to a soccer player, what's your inspiration to play soccer? We sort of don't. And in the same way, with art, we typically ask, what's your inspiration to paint? For me, it's similar to a sportsman in that I love this. This is what I do. This is what I dream about. It's what I wake up to. This is what I think about. When it comes to painting, when I get paint out of the tubes and I put it onto, in my case, a porcelain plate, and I use a rudimentary tool like a paintbrush and I apply it to a 2D surface, this feels natural, this feels special, this feels powerful, this feels a flow state, I feel at home, and I love doing it. So, if you take that, then you find out where the fulfillment comes from there. Well, the next stage to that is that fulfillment comes from everyone else. When I start doing this thing that I love so much and I get myself fulfilled, this extra boost comes on, and other people feel a similar thing that I felt when I created it. They see in it what I saw or what I wanted, and we have a special connection. That's fulfilling, that's game changing, that's worth pursuing. So, aside from any artist or inspiration to paint, the actual process itself and the ability to connect with people on a level that I say, this is me, this is something primal, authentic, weird, special, raw, expressive, from me to you, of a likeness of something you care about, and we can connect on that level. Yeah, that's my inspiration. That's what I do. Sorry, if you do want work, sorry guys, and there was a question about that there. There's a wait time at the moment of about a month and just over a month. If you jump on the link in the bio, you can select commission. If you're not after a commission with me, you can go onto the links for the prints, and they're available by the link in the bio too. So both of them, fantastic, you're welcome to either. I'd absolutely love for you to own a print. If you order a print as well, please send me a picture of it. I'd love to see it in your home. It's really, really cool to know that you've got something, a piece of art of mine in your home. I'd love to think that it's bringing you joy daily. I'd love to think that you're enjoying it. I'd love to think that it has a positive, inspirational impact on you. Anyway. Yeah, Mitch, I was on 7 Sharp. You're the right guy. So it was 7 Sharp called me up and they wanted to talk about, I said, oh, you're doing this really fun stuff. Can we talk further about your painting, about what you're doing? And yeah, they were so lovely. They came in, they filmed for about 3 or 4 hours. They were there for a long time. 2 incredible people. They could have made me look like a real idiot. They could have. I gave them so much footage, but they didn't. They were so kind, so friendly, and they just portrayed all the things that I cared about, that it's about, that this is about. Making people happier. It's about me getting fulfillment, me doing what makes me happy, and it's about just bringing more joy into the world and looking after people and doing it in a wholesome, friendly, fun kind of way. So I'm just lucky that I grew up as a kid and I always dreamed about becoming a painter, guys. I had a little brief fling of wanting to become a dinosaur scientist and a rock scientist, but they were flings, just flings. Always wanted to become an artist, and so that's always what I wanted to share. It's always what I wanted to be, and it's an absolute privilege to be able to share that with you now, and to know that the 5-year-old version of me would think that that I'm doing what the 5-year-old version of me wanted me to be. So that's pretty special. Yeah. So I think I answered all those questions. Did I miss any? Probably. Yeah. So if you want prints or artwork, currently all the artwork's sold out. You have to go for the commission form, and we can do a new project together, which would be pretty exciting. I'd enjoy that. And one day soon, hopefully, there'll be a collection of artwork so you can just buy straight off the shelf. But right now, I'm sold out. Did you learn to draw or just have a gift? It's interesting. I think I started off When I was younger, my mother always spotted that I loved to paint, draw, and craft, and build. But I think that it actually came less about when you say, did you learn it? More through self-confidence that what you could make could give someone else pleasure, that you could physically make something and produce something into the world that could make someone else happy. Once you accepted that that could be the case, that's when your art goes to a whole new level. Or at least that's for me, that was the game-changing moment. Thinking that actually I could make someone else happy through something I could create. Once you actually believe that, now you can pursue art in a very real, physical kind of way, if that's the right word. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Let's get some more of this in here, more of this down here. There we go, and put a little bit more through here. Where else are we going to go with this? Down into here. This is another one of our shades of red. This is our 4th shade. And like I say, we're going to have to go to about 7, I reckon. 7's going to be the magic number. It usually is. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Burnt sienna for the win. Where else are we going to put it? Just around here. Cutting around these toes. Lapping around here. There we go. Brilliant. I'm going to keep cutting that in all around here. Perfect. All right. Hello from Canada. Same place as JC. Here we go. Beautiful. There we go. Sorry guys, just gonna concentrate on this carpet a little bit. You'd think he's just putting it on rough, but make sure it goes just right. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Little Prince of Siam, layer by layer. French province of Canada, that's fun. I like that, I like that. Am I gonna, actually, so I was gonna get some black, but if I mix this brown with this forest green, yeah, that's gonna give me that slightly darker shade. I wonder if I can't use this in a few little areas to just make this cabinet pop a little bit. There we go, this is gonna work. Just a little bit more through here. Keep it coming. Just a little bit more down here. And there. There we go. Doing well. Alright, and we're going to put a little bit more through here. There we go. Where else are we going to go with it? There we go. And we're doing there. Keep it coming. Just down through here. Perfecto. And then, there we go. Nice, nice. A bit more darkness up through here. Then we're going to sneak. What's happening up here? Sneak a little bit through there. And just up here a little bit. That's what we're after. Snap, snap, snap. And keep it coming. Some more energy to that place shortly. Always going to come in here. Fantastic. Fantastic. Why don't they make... Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. But look, I think everyone's got their own special traits. And look, I'm not all that great actually. I'm a bit of a nerd. Probably high maintenance. Probably don't do enough laundry. Probably could cook eggs better. Probably all sorts of things. the end of the day, I think a lot of people have so much amazing things to offer, and you know, make sure you don't take yourself for granted, because you might have some amazing things to offer the people around you, to offer yourself, and to offer the world. You get so hung up on not being a good athlete, not being this, not being that. How is it relevant? Why does it matter? Do you. Because no one can do you better than you. Who said being nerdy was a bad thing? I think it's like, thank you, Victoria, appreciate that. No one said nerdy was a bad thing. Nerdy's a great thing. I love card games. I don't play many video games. I'm partial to them. I play a video game. I just, for some reason, I end up not. But I love the fact, I love the idea of video games. I think that's well put. You know, just let that be like that. There we go. Probably card games, like trading card games, big fan. When I was a kid, I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, big fan. Do my clothes look that messy today? I'm sorry. Here we go. Just a little bit through there, and then a little bit through there. Cool. Cool. We're in a good spot. A good spot. I'm with you on video games. I think I'm I love that. I never got into Minecraft so much, but I can see how it happens. Oh yes. Skyrim, big fan. Morrowind, played a bit of that. Never did Oblivion. What else did I like? Yeah. Normally, when I want to play a game like that again, I just go back for more reruns of Skyrim. Can't help myself. There we go. All right, let's have a little look-see here. Dun, 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 dun. We're in a good place. Right. Okay, let's lower this down a little bit. And we're going to go back to the, maybe a few little white highlights in here first. A few little white highlights, and then we'll go back to the top, smash some greens through here, and see where we're sitting with the painting. We're not far off letting this one sit for a period, whether it be 2 days, 1 day, 3 days, just letting it sit and making sure we're happy with the direction it's going in. Then after that, wait 3 days, we have another look at it. Make sure it's where we want it to be. Go in the direction we want it to go in. All right, here we go. A little bit around here. Keep it coming a little bit through here. All right, and then over the top here. Perfect. Fantastic. There we go. This is going to really make that detail on the carpet pop, stand out, shine. And that's what we're after. And this carpet really, like a magic carpet he's standing on. It's a symbol on the carpet itself too, so it doesn't want to feel like it's jumping off it too much. It wants to feel like a part of it, but not too much a part of it. Also guys, if you miss any of these lives and you want to catch them, I used to, and will continue to, once I clear my phone off, post these on Instagram. So, not on Instagram, YouTube. So I would love to catch you on YouTube. Links in the bio, if you want it. Here we go, a little bit of this comes through here. And that can go on there. There we go. All right. A little bit more down this carpet. Come on down here. Perfect. A little bit more around here. And then we're down a little bit there. Fantastic, guys. All right. How are we sitting? In a good place. We still need to come back into this area here with a slightly smaller brush and do some cutting. Just hit a little bit of detail. Blacken and the white out. And in that area there will be largely finished. But for now, this little brush is going to do all the trick we need for a few of those little areas. Here we go. Just keep slicing and dicing. Beautiful. Oh, fantastic, Pablo. You're on break at work. Have a break, have a coffee. In New Zealand, it's, what is it? Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. You got Kit Kats where you're at? I don't mind a Kit Kat. Get on board with a Kit Kat. There you go. A little more through there. Perfect. Step back. Throw a bit of this in here. Perfect. Perfect. All right, folks. That is enough. We're going to let that sit for a bit. After looking at it for too long, we can start to construct the same lines over and over again. And what it needs is some time to relax. It's going to need some more deeper browns with a bit of black through them, through these two areas here, combining into the carpet. The carpet needs a few more shades in it, 3. Yeah, 3, we're going to go for 3. And then a few more colours up here into the green. This area here is all looking pretty good, but we'll keep building it out with a few little bits and pieces. Other than that, I'm really happy with it. I love this part by the side of the head here. I love the colours that are occurring in there. A lot's happening in this painting. And it's heading in just the right direction. So, good to be happy with it. What I'm going to do now, I think I might put a little coat on a new canvas. It looks here. Will I do that? No, I'll hold fire on that one for now. But guys, wherever you're joining from, I really hope you've had a fantastic day or you're about to have one. Wishing you all the best from here in New Zealand. This is the Little Prince of Siam. He's going really well. Steve, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And hello to the Little Prince of Siam. Hope you're looking after yourself. Victoria, you're an absolute champion. I'll catch you later. And guys, all the best. I'll see you probably same time tomorrow. Can't wait. Cheers, guys. Bye for now. There we go. And pa. Bye.